Round 2 in the season, and we head to Hotlanta tonight. It's bound to be a wild ride as drivers take on the slick legacy format, but I'm ready for it. We'll see how these drivers can take it on. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Eliza Bethel alongside Pete Ruzick for SnB's Xfinity Series Season 4. How you doing tonight, Pete?
Eliza, I'm doing well. It's hot and slick out here, like they always talk about when we get to Hotlanta. It's always a lot of fun. These cars have been all over the place. The temperature has been a little bit of a worry for the drivers, and it's only going to get warmer. How are you?
I think so. I'm doing great, but man, we have to talk about this track. It is slick. It's a little slick up high, but I think where these drivers are going to go is going to be down low. So we're really going to have to watch it because it is very slippery out there. That I think these drivers in the long run are going to try to take the low side, but I think if we're going to pass, they might see the high side get some action up there.
Yeah, high side could absolutely see a lot of action. Down low, you really got to wait until that nose is actually going to stick, because you can't really get back in the throttle, because as soon as you try, you're either going to push up track or you're going to get really, really loose. So we'll have to see. Qualifying now underway. These guys are going to paint the whole story for us.
Yeah, I want to go on board with Andrew Wisdom out here. He's doing a great job. But you can just see already he's getting loose, really having to be all over the steering wheel, trying to keep it steady. This is just a glimpse of how loose these conditions will be tonight. It will tighten up a little bit in the long run, but I'm not counting on it too much. And in practice, we had a little bit lower temperatures than what we're going to see here tonight. I'm talking 71 degrees in practice, and by the time we get to the race, it's going to be about 78. And that does not count track temperature, which will probably be around, I don't know, a 95 to 100 degrees. We'll have to take a look when it gets there.
Yeah, triple-digit track temps, where when possible, definitely makes for some very, very slick conditions. Jacob Palmer on one of his long runs. It's good to see that driver of the 39 Psyops machine out here on track. But he was saying he was getting loose on the straights off of 2 under full throttle. So yeah, these things are absolutely going to be a handful.
Absolutely. I want to say, Chloe, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it. 7 months. How about that? But we have Jonathan Jurgensmeyer up top on the board with a 31.39, and then Josh Taylor. He is going to make his debut tonight with a 31.14. We'll see if anyone else can make that time a little bit faster, but Steven Maggio, he is out there in second with 31.05. So these guys are looking pretty close, and I'm getting a little bit of different happenings here compared to my timing here. So we'll see what you say, Pete.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. Right now, the deuce of Josh Taylor is on top of the boards over Riley Rosenbrook and John Jurgensmeyer. As every week, I try to go through, wish all the drivers good luck throughout the various teams and tell them, go get it, keep the shiny side up and all that. And Josh Taylor said he hates that he missed last week because he missed out on a lot of points, and he was hoping that tonight he was going to have a great race, wasn't going to get wrecked out. Well, Eliza, your chance of getting wrecked out from the number 1 position, very, very, very good odds that you're okay.
Yeah, it's so true. And I want to talk about what we're going to expect tonight as far as the track analysis. Let's take a look. We're going to have here at Atlanta 150 laps. There is going to be no fast repair. That is no different from what we normally see here. And stages, we are going to have stages. It's going to be 35 for the first stage, 35 for the second, and 80 laps for the final stage. And there will be 4 fresh tires that these drivers can take. We are headed over to warm-ups now, so these guys will have another minute to try to get these tires warmed up and see how this track will drive. But man, it is going to be very sketchy for a while out here.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you, it's 35 lap stages for stage one, stage two. That's about perfect. I mean, yeah, the cars are going to start to get loose. They might get that little bit of a sensation of the feeling coming back. But that last stage of 80 laps, they were saying that these guys can go between 50 to 55 laps, depending on how much throttle time they're getting. If they're having to let off a whole lot because their car is just not handling all that well, they might think about trying to cut that stage right down the middle, right at 40, come out with some brand new Eagle Feel Goods, a tank full of gas, and go for the gusto.
Absolutely. We see John Honeycutt out there, Jose. These guys are still doing some qualifying, so they're not over just yet, but soon they will be. And it looks like Justin, we saw him very, very strong in the practice, so he's looking to be pretty good, and I think he might set pole here.
Yeah, Justin was getting a real good push from Brian McCann last week, coming to the closing laps, and they ended up, what was it, like 6/1000ths or something like that, coming across the line with Brian McCann taking the W. So last week at Daytona, he really put on a great show in that number 4 Red Bull machine. Hey, he might, maybe he'll start and finish from that spot this week.
Absolutely. Well, you guys are going to have to give me a second. My live timing is not working. We'll give it a second and see if it does. If not, we'll try to reset that. But these guys will be in warm up, and we'll test it out before we get to the race and make sure everything is good to go. You can see a couple of drivers. It's going to be Kevin out there in that number 92 machine, and you see Jacob Palmer, these guys leaving pit lane to warm up those cars. And yeah, the layout is dead, so we're going to try to get that fixed up real quick.
Well, you do what you got to do, and I got you covered. But yeah, I tell you what, every little bit of track time that you can get on a track as hot as it is today. You mentioned air temp before. Air temp in practice was about 75 degrees, so far up to 77. Track temp so far has stayed right at 91, so it's not fluctuating all that much. Sim time is now 2 o'clock, so between 12:30 when practice was going and now 2 o'clock in the hot afternoon Atlanta sun, no big variations in the temperature. So everything so far is just as they practiced. That means that, hey, maybe practice truly will make perfect for one of these guys.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, they're actually looking a lot better than what I was thinking they would. Considering the loose conditions that we have. But man, they're doing a great job. You can see a lot of them taking advantage of this practice out here. And while we're seeing this, let's go ahead and take a look at points so far. We're going to have Justin. He's out on top with 50 points from last week. Brian McCann is sitting in second, but he is part-time. He's got 48 points out here, looking really good. Andrew Wisdom, the past championship, he is out here with 45 points, sitting P3, and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer sitting fourth with 43 points.
Yeah, Tom Flitcroft right now in that 8, sitting 5th with 41, so just 9 points behind the leader. Mr. Gale sitting 6th with 40, 35 for Cody Kalinga, P7. Brendan Book, 34 points, sitting P8, tied with the one and only Stout Whiskey, or Jeff No, excuse me. He's also 34 points. And then to round out the top 10, Mr. Maggio, 31. So, man, 19 points is nothing when you're talking about how much more racing we've got to go in this season.
Absolutely. Let's take a look. I'm hearing a lot of tire squeals from these drivers. We're going to see what they can do, but man, slick conditions, no doubt, and it's going to be a little bit better as time goes on. but I'm not expecting much. Real, how are you, Stacka? Hope you guys are doing good. We're going to be in for a great race. We do have stage racing this season. We're going to see 35 laps for the first stage, 35 for the second, and 80 for the final. Yeah, get ready to see a lot of action, and I think we're going to see 2-3 wide, but that low side, they better watch out.
Yeah, I was just watching that 00, and he came up off that bottom side, tried to open up the wheel coming off of 4, and he got all kinds of slideways. I think that's what we're going to see a lot of, and coming up off the corners, if they try to get back in the throttle, hopefully they're not going to have somebody there outside and have a whole bunch of cautions. Cautions are definitely not what we want to see. We want to see a lot of great green flag racing, but I mentioned it before. There's a driver in here that had the line of the race, and he said he thinks that we're going to see enough meatballs in here to open an Italian restaurant. For anybody out there that doesn't know what a meatball is in iRacing, when you've got too much damage to be able to continue safely on track with the rest of your competition, iRacing makes you go down pit road, get your damage fixed if at all possible, and then you'd be allowed to come back out. So hopefully we don't have a whole lot of meatballs. Hopefully we don't have a whole lot of cautions. We have a lot of great green flag racing, and at the end we'll see who the new winner is, since Brian McCann is not here tonight. As you said, he is just part-time.
You know, and we're going to have to watch heading into pit lane. A lot of these drivers, you have to whoa it down so fast. And these cars, they get so loose. And depending on where you put your brake bias, it's really going to make or break your entry. And if you get completely slideways going in, or if you can get it whoa down in time and keep it straight. So that is something we're going to see drivers have a lot of issue with. I've even seen drivers, Pete, who are trying to get on the track going around under the apron, and they completely lose it.
Oh, absolutely. These tires are hot. These tires are worn. When they're coming on down pit road, it's not just a brake bias. There's a whole lot. There's a banking difference between the track and the apron as well. So there's a whole lot of factors that can really make you have an issue getting on and off pit road. So we'll see how these guys handle it this evening. It's a long race.
It is a long race, and we're getting ready to head to the race here. So let's get this grid moving, and we'll do the lineup. And looks like Justin Anasagak, he is going to be on pole in that number 4 machine. To his outside is going to be Brody Falliker in that 42. Row 2 is going to be Josh Taylor with Jimmy Cocker in P4. Row 3 is going to be John Honeycutt in that 50 machine with Brendan Book to his outside. Row 4 is going to be Francis Hamilton with Riley Rosenbrook to his outside. And in row 5, we're going to have Jonathan Jurgensmeyer with Jordan McGraw sitting next to him.
Absolutely. Jose Ruiz in at 23 sitting P11. And to round out the top 12, talking about the 61 of Micah Allard sitting P number 12. P13, Andrew Sanford into 37 with Steve Maggio to his outside in the 51. Row 8 looks like Cody Kalinka in that 79. Had a great Daytona last week with Tom Flitcroft. Never count out that 8 in P16. P17 looks like Luke Allen in the 7 with Joseph Turley to round out row 9 in the 97. Andrew Wisdom, the champ from the last 2 seasons, in the number 1, sitting 19th with Jarrett Cardwell in the 12 for P20.
All right, and in 21st, we're going to have Christopher Karch sitting 21st with 22nd, going to be Oscar Henson. Philip Bridgman in that 9 machine, going to be in 23rd with Dylan C. Robb in 24th position. And in 25th, we're going to have Matthew Gale in that 67 with Jacob Kerr to his outside. 27th, we're going to have Jacob Palmer with in 28th, going to be Connor Cunningham. 29th is going to be Jeff No with Michael Campbell sitting in 30th. 31st is going to be Chuck Cody with Kevin Dallatour in 32nd.
There we go. 32. Yeah, 32. Shake and Bake iRacing Xfinity Series drivers on track. It's going to be a great race. Going to be very, very slick for a lot of these guys. They're going to have to practice a whole lot of patience, really minding their P's and Q's. But at the end, it's all about the checkers.
I think so. Dougie, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. We're getting ready to go to Atlanta Motor Speedway, green flag racing. Hopefully, we're not going to have to see a pit stop the first stage or the second, but we'll see how these guys wear down the tires. But here they go, coming around. Green flag here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And we have Justin already with a great start out there. He's going to have Brody Falliker tuck in behind him with Josh Taylor. He's going to be third.
Yeah, Brody Falliker again. He kind of is tricking me up. He's been in the one car in the Cup Series for the last few seasons. So I'm interested to see what driver of this 42 is going to be able to do this season. Justin Anscock, though, as you said, got a great start. It looks like he's going to go ahead and lead lap one. Give a point his way.
Yeah, he was doing so strong last week at Daytona and already doing a great job here. He came in last season saying, you know what, I'm not very strong here in these cars. And he absolutely blew everyone away with how he came in and just how well he was doing. And I think we're going to see the same here. He seems to be a little bit more confident, doing a really solid job so far in the season.
Absolutely. Looking behind him, you see a whole line of cars on that bottom. So it kind of goes to what you were saying before. You're going to see more on the bottom than more on the top. I think I only saw maybe 4 or 5 cars in that second or third lane up. So a long train of coming all the way around these bends as they come across to complete lap number 2. I'm sorry, actually, no. They're coming past pit road exit, excuse me.
Yeah, these guys. A single file line. How about this train? And Maddie says J-Mac a top 10. She's excited for the race because it's in her neck of the woods. It's always a fun race for sure. I know you'll be up by me, but man, absolutely, Chloe. It is a long train. Let's go back here. This is going to be P15. We'll go on board with Jose Ruiz. As I said, P15, and you can see a lot of these guys are down low, but it is so extremely loose down there. I'm really surprised that these guys are holding on as well as they are. Let's go ahead and knock on some wood for that one.
Absolutely. So you see the 37 right ahead of him. That's going to be Andrew Sanford. Behind him is going to be the 97 of Joseph Turley, Cody Kalinka, Andrew Wisdom, and Chris Karch, with Luke Allen to round out the top 20. You know, I talked to Andrew Wisdom real quick before the race and asked him what he thought about these cars. He's not as comfortable in them as he is in the Cup cars, but I know that guy's got to have a boatload of confidence after going back-to-back as far as the championship goes in Season 2 and Season 3. Last season's championship points battle was absolutely amazing. Came down to a tie. Ultimately ended up being the winner. I'm sorry, the driver with the most wins, if I'm not mistaken. So we can never count out Andrew Wisdom.
You know, it is kind of surprising seeing him back here in 18th. But as you said, I mean, he's a champion and he's going to do really well. So I don't think we're going to see him back here for long, but he's definitely trying to get a feeling for that car. But how about these top 3, Justin and Brody, going side by side for the lead right now? It is very, very close. Brody, we talked about having him get his first win last season in the Cup cars. We're in Xfinity now, and he looks just as strong. Will we be able to see him hit victory lane tonight, Pete?
It is absolutely, I never count him out. Every single week I was always talking about that one car and how consistent he was. You know, he was in the booth for post-race interviews so many times. So many times he was the bridesmaid, or in his case we'll call him the groomsman. But he I told him it was only a matter of time. You can't run second all the time. And yeah, he was able to get it done. And so far tonight, it looks like him and Justin Anscock just kind of walking away with just about a second or more gap over P3.
Yeah, these guys are absolutely having a 2-man breakaway right here, just doing a fabulous job. Meanwhile, you see John Honeycutt, who's up 2 positions from where he started, sitting P3. He's got some company behind him. That is going to be Josh Taylor. This is going to be his debut race for SnB out here on iRacing. So great to see him out here, and so far he is looking really solid. Behind him, you're going to see Brendan Book leading this 3rd pack. He's got Jimmy Cocker behind him, along with Jonathan Jurgensmeyer and Francis Hamilton. These guys looking very, very solid.
Yeah, Francis Hamilton looking really, really good. Micah Allard spent a lot of time, unfortunately, backwards in the practices. He was trying to get or test what the limits were. as much as he could. That way, when it came to the race, he had a better idea of where his throttle points were, where he was able to really get back on the gas. He was testing the limits to make sure that he was going to have the best possible race. Look for this 61 to be close to the front when it's all said and done.
Lead change here, back and forth between Brody and Justin. These two were just going at it. It looks like Justin is going to back out a little bit, and he is now going to take over that second spot with Brody Fallagher taking that lead. So how about that? I guarantee it's going to change several more times before this first stage is over, but Justin is all over the back bumper of Brody, just putting the pressure on, and we're going to see how these guys maneuver around as these tires get a little bit older.
And what's really interesting, as everybody can pay attention to the left-hand side of the screen, you see that the scoring pylon, and they're actually pulling away from John Honeycutt while they're trying to battle for P1. The four's trying to take it back. The 42 is trying to hold him off. The four's having to try a different line in order to try to stay in the clean air, and they keep extending that gap. But Eliza, are they racing too hard? Are they really pushing it? And is Honeycutt just kind of laying back saying, hey, you guys go ahead. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, you know, Josh has passed up John Honeycutt. He is in fourth at the moment, but I think he's going to try to save those tires a little bit. I think he's wondering what the top two drivers, if they are overdriving it and using it more than they should, thinking that there might be a caution out before stage ends. But John Honeycutt, he is really good at those tracks that are very loose and a little more difficult. So I think we're going to see a good run out of him tonight.
Oh, absolutely. I remember in season 1 driving the 50 again for Team FTR. He was really, really good. He was up there battling with James Holzer. And, of course, Holzer later became the season 1 inaugural champion. So the 50, John Honeycutt, he can get up there. He can battle with the best of them. It's just putting a race together in that Nintendo machine.
Absolutely. You see him on board with John Honeycutt looking ahead at Josh Taylor, and just listen to the tire squealing. He's going to take that mid-line right there as Josh Taylor is going to go up the track. Gets a little loose, but man, he holds on to it really, really well. But it just goes to show you how the handling of this car is changing throughout this race. A lot of drivers taking that low line, but John Honeycutt, he's taking that high.
Yeah, Brendan Book in that 5, down low, coming across the start stripe. Looks like the 5 will have the spot. So now the 5's got to try to reel in the deuce of Josh Taylor and see what he can do with it. Behind John Honeycutt, now he's in trouble from Jonathan Jurgensmeyer and Jimmy Cocker as well. Can the 50 stop the bleeding, or is he going to be able to hold him off?
Yeah, you know, Jimmy Cocker did not have a good race last week. Got involved in late race shenanigans, I'll say. So sitting P7th, I hope he has a good run tonight. He's always got a solid car. Looking great so far, but this is a crowded track right now up here. So we'll see if he can make up some more spots and make his way into the top 5.
Absolutely. Top 10 still pretty consistent. Micah Allard has absolutely moved up 4 spots. Right now sitting P8. Last time we talked about him, he was 10th. So he's putting that 61 through its paces. It's just going to be a little bit more. And if anybody can save tires, save fuel, do whatever they've got to do to make sure that they're there at the end, he's one of the best.
Pete, how about this? It looks like Brody Falker is leaving Justin Anasagak just a little bit. So that gap is starting to increase. We'll see what they can do with it. But man, Brody looking solid, but I'm a little concerned. We've seen Brody lead out there and just randomly, we've seen him lose it on the apron or have trouble in pit lane. So I want to see him do really well tonight. I want to see that long run for him.
Oh, absolutely. This is something that I preach very, very often, Eliza. And it's talking about when you get into the lead, you just get into race management mode. You don't need to run away from the guy behind you. All you have to do is keep pace. And you could do that with your own relative inside the car. You can see exactly where they are, see what line they're running, maybe try to dump a little bit of dirty air on them, whatever. But you don't have to continue to push the car, push your right front, push your right rear, to 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. Even if you're capable of it, if you're feeling absolutely great about your car and how it's handling, you don't have to push it. All you got to do is keep your position.
Right, we're headed lap 19 of 150. This race is just getting started, but remember, we have the first stage ending on lap 35. Now, let's talk about tires. You will not be able to go into pit lane 2 laps before stage ends. So our race control, Thomas Harmon and Brian Pizzakimi, they will shut down pit lane before stage ends by 2 laps. These guys will have to go in earlier than that or stay out and take some tires when they go in for the stage. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out throughout the season, and especially tonight with the conditions that we see.
I would imagine if you're 10th on or 11th on back, you're not going to get stage points. You're going to come down with 3 to go, grab those Eagle Feel Goods, top it off, come on back out, and not push it, because you know everybody else ahead of you, they're going to go on down pit road. So we'll see how it plays out. But I think if you're 11th on back, you come on down early. That way you get a better shot at some clean air later on.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great strategy, and we'll see what these guys do. We're on board with Oscar Henson sitting P29. It just goes to show you how many guys are out on this track and the varying positions you see out here. But he's heading on that back stretch, and some of these guys are taking the high side, and while you see others taking the low. It's just all about where you're comfortable with. Just got to watch that tire wear, but Henson looking solid in that 88.
Yeah, behind Oscar Henson, looks like it's Connor Cunningham in a brand new scheme. He brought out the Hellman's Mayo. Looks like number 3 for a little bit of a Dale Earnhardt throwback. As it looks like, 39 is going to go around.
Caution.
Jacob Palmer is going to be involved along with Connor Cunningham. We were just on board with them. Man, absolutely crazy. Let's see if we can get a camera, find out exactly what happened here. Looks like Jacob just goes up. Connor nowhere to go, and that is going to bring out our first caution of the night.
Way too early for the stage, so it's going to be interesting to see. With pit road closing 3 laps to go, do those from 11th on back take this chance to come in, or does everybody come on down?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's too early. I mean, you only have 4 sets out there, so you got to be really conservative on what you do and when you do it. I think it's too early, Pete. I do not like coming in right now, but we'll see what these guys say.
Well, these cars have been wicked loose on the long run. What are the restarts going to be like if they stay out? Who comes in? Who fakes it? We're about to find out.
Wow.
Ooh, mixed bag.
Yeah, our leader comes in along with a few others, but Justin is going to stay out. Brendan, Micah, we see Jonathan stay out, but we do have some takers of Josh Taylor, our leader, Brody Falliker, Jimmy Cocker, John Honeycutt, all going into pit lane. I'm kind of surprised about this, Pete.
Yep. I mean, I thought some might, but not everybody. Looks like there's only 17 cars that stayed on track. Everybody else came down pit road.
Quite a few, to be honest. That's pretty much half the field right there. So we'll see what they do. They're going to be in traffic in that dirty air. And for these drivers, the restarts are going to be an issue. So these guys are going to have to be careful around each other. And for those drivers that have stayed out, they're going to have to really watch the fast drivers as they are making their way through and watch that tire spin.
Elijah, strategy question for you, okay? The 4, Justin Anscock, he decided to be one of those that stayed out. He's already led laps, actually quite a few of them, right up there with Brody Falliker. Would it have been better for the 4 of Justin Anscock to come on down right there, grab 4 brand new Eagle Feel Goods, not take fuel, and then under the stage break, come on down, grab your fuel, and then come on back out? That way you're spending the least amount of time on pit road. So spend the most here with everybody else that's doing it, and then spend the least later.
There's so many different strategies. I'm still on team, I'm not going in. I'm waiting for that stage. I mean, we still have several laps, and here at Atlanta, where it's just so loose, you want to make sure that tire wear is not going to go against you. With 4 sets, I'm still holding on to it.
Well, we'll have to see how that tire wear and that looseness and all that is It looks like the lights atop the pace car are out, so they're going to be going back green this time. Eliza, who spins them and who gets that launch?
I'm hoping no one spins them, and especially if you're out front, that's going to be a huge issue as these guys get ready to go back to green. And if you are a fan of any of these drivers, be sure to, if you have a sub, be sure to show them some love out there and use those emotes. I know they would appreciate it, but man, it's going to be interesting to see how this restart takes off, because you see Brendan on that high side, Justin on that low side, and they can choose their lane. Justin did choose to be on that low side.
The Ford got a good launch coming around the 42 earlier, so we'll have to see, but pace car is up, coming to that restart zone. Eliza, let's go green.
Back to green, and so far it looks okay, but trouble. Oh, I don't know how they saved that. That is absolutely incredible. You see a driver, I don't know if that was Jonathan Jurgensmeyer or who that was, but you see guys going through the grass as they're trying to save it. But man, wild restart, no doubt. 42 hard into the wall. That's going to be Brody Falliker. 48 into the wall. Huge chaos as these guys are trying to make their way through.
Yeah, so far it looks like they've been able to keep it going, so no yellow coming to lap 27, so just a few more before that stage break yellow is thrown at the completion of lap 35. Right now we still have, looks like Justin Aniscock leading, Brendan Book P2, Jurgensmeyer third, Micah Allard, Tom Flitcroft is your top five. Tom Flitcroft up 11 right now. He's tied for most spots gained with Chris Karch and Philip Bridgman.
Just a wild race. We have 3 wide out here, and it looks like it's going to be possibly Riley and a couple of others out there, but Jordan McGraw in the top 10 here. Riley moves up to 8th. Steven Maggio in 7th, up 7 spots from where he started. And as you said, Tom is up about 10 spots from where he started. So these guys are moving, but man, we know that these restarts can get a little hairy, and we saw just how it can be right here.
Yeah, that restart saw the 61 and a few others spin the tires. Looks like caution number 2 is going to fly. Still too early for the stage break.
See if we can find out. Looks like it's involving Josh Taylor, Dylan. Man, a little bit into the wall, just comes down. The 2 nowhere to go, just some contact, and it just goes downhill very quickly. You can see some of these guys missing some parts. The 16 involved, so it's going to be a rough day. And I know that when they talked about we're going to see enough meatballs to have an Italian restaurant, no joke.
No, I mean, some of these guys, they're missing the entire front clip. Very unfortunate for the Deuce and the 16 and a few others. So we'll have to see, but lights on the pace car, and the field is going to get all racked and stacked back up. Looks like the 5 of Brendan Book, he's gonna surrender second place. I wonder if maybe he had a little bit of a scare on that restart, maybe spun him or saw what happened behind him, said, no, I'm not doing that.
We have a couple of takers for pit lane. Brendan Book, Jacob Kerr, Connor Cunningham, Andrew Sanford, Christopher Karch, Josh Taylor, Jacob Palmer, Dylan Robb. Some of these guys do have some damage, including Brody Falliker, who we saw go on in earlier on. So Justin still stays out, and at that point, if you're going to stay out the first time, you might as well stay out this time also.
Yeah, very unfortunate to see the 12 with Jarrett Cardwell on pit road as well, with his teammate of the 40 just behind him. That's going to be Karch. So, man, that team is struggling mightily here at Atlanta. We'll see what the restart looks like.
Yeah, let's take a look, see if we can find out what happened again with this yellow. Doesn't look like it's going to show exactly where. Let's see. We'll try to rewind it a little bit here. Yeah, they're just so wadded up right there. Just some contact with that 2 car. Nowhere to go. Just tight racing, and as you're coming to the stage finish here, a lot of these guys are just going to try to get every position they can, and that's what you're going to get with this. Very, very close for sure.
Yeah, that 40 and the 2, that was pretty close. I saw that looked like the 40 kind of bounced off the wall, but the 2 was right there on his quarter panel. I think that would have ultimately ended up as a racing deal. But hey, these drivers all have different points of view.
Absolutely. We'll see what they decided after the race here, but lap 31 of 150, we still have a lot of racing and a lot of slick track left to go. Super David says, touched the wall and fell down into the car on the inside. David, I don't know if you know this, but Christopher Karch, he is Skyline that you race with on F1. So we have a couple of drivers out here from F1, which is cool to see the different series that they race in. But great to have him out here.
Yeah, Jarrett Cardwell, JCX 12. There's a few out here. Absolutely. I mean, everybody knows J Mac and of course Kerr and whatnot. So yeah, good to see them all.
Absolutely. Justin's still leading the race. I mean, just so strong here tonight. The second caution of the night. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer and that 00 looking really good. Micah sitting third. Jimmy Cocker in fourth, right where he started in the race. Tom Flitcroft in fifth. And Stephen Maggio sixth. Riley Rosenbrook seventh. Cody Kalinka in eighth, who got a top 10 last week. Jordan McGraw in ninth. And Philip Bridgman sitting 13 spots up from where he started in the top 10.
Yeah, to go through the rest of the top 15, looks like it's going to be Matt Gale in at 67 with Jose Ruiz, Luke Allen with Jeff No, and then Chuck Cody up 16 spots. Right now, he is the biggest mover through the field in his number 31 Chevrolet Camaro.
Drivers are getting lined up, ready to go once again. I mean, they're getting a feel for how it is on a restart and on older tires, how you have to be a little patient. Make sure you give each other some room. There is going to be some tire spin we saw earlier on. I want to say it was Jonathan Jurgensmeyer on the last restart who had some tire spin on that restart and did a fantastic job with that save. If it was not him, we'll have to go back and take a look, but we're going to see more of that tonight.
Absolutely. 3 laps to go. Pace car's going to go ahead and make that hard left down pit road. Red Bull number 4 is going to be the first on a loud pedal. Eliza, let's go racing. It looks like no spin this time. Clean restart.
Yeah, Justin with a great start. Jonathan, he's going to be behind with Jimmy Cocker going side by side with Micah. Micah's way up the track, going to get that outside momentum along with Jimmy Cocker. So these guys are off and moving. Let's hope that they get a clean racing and get to the finish here.
New leader, the 11 of Jimmy. I keep wanting to say 31. I tell you, he screwed that up for me something fierce. But how about that? Jimmy Cocker coming across the line to lead lap 34. Lap 35 is a competition caution, and you can bet everybody inside the top 11 back to Jose Ruiz or just about will come on down at that time, and all those that have come down before will inherit the lead at that point. But right now, it looks like Jimmy Cocker pulling away.
Yeah, top 10 will get some nice points out here added on to the standings. So Jimmy Cocker, if he can hold on to it for another lap, will get 10 points added on to his standings, which will be a nice padding for him. Justin, who had some nice stage points last week, will gather some more this week once they come around to the stage caution. But definitely much needed as we go into playoffs later on. You see a car in the wall over there. Trouble for some of these drivers as they are trying to make their way through. But man, oh man, some tough racing out here tonight. You see Jimmy Cocker, he's coming to the line. We'll get to the top 10, and then the caution will come out.
Jimmy Cocker made the correct decision back on lap 23 to come on down. When that caution flew, he will be stage 1's victor.
Yeah, Jimmy Cocker gets it done here. We're going to see some of these drivers go in and get that fuel, get those tires that they need, and start a fresh stage. It will be stage number 2 after this is complete. But congratulations to the top 10. Get some nice bonus points with the first one crossing the line of Jimmy Cocker getting 10 bonus points. And in 10th, it goes all the way down to 1 bonus point. Yeah,
Cody Kalinga back there right now in P10 in his Black Rifle Bass Pro Shops. There's a mixing sponsor for you. Go out, go hunting, and make sure you're fully caffeinated. But yeah, Justin Anscock, P2 for stage points. Micah Allard, Steve Maggio, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Tom Flickroft, Riley Rosenbrook, Matt Gale, Luke Allen, and again, Cody Kalinka.
Yeah, great job for these guys. You see a couple of guys already in pit lane trying to fix some damage from earlier on. Brody Falliker still in pits along with Jarrett Cardwell. But I think we're going to see Jimmy Cocker and Justin most definitely going in here. Let's take a look at their stint length. But Jimmy Cocker, yeah, he went in 13 laps ago along with Matthew Gale. But the remainder of these drivers have yet to go in. Here comes Jimmy Cocker.
Absolutely. Now it'll be interesting to see what Jimmy Cocker does. Does he take fuel only and come on back out since he was last in on lap 23? And by the way he got around the 4, I'm gonna guess he took either rights or lefts, or maybe all 4. I don't know. And then come on out right here, pretty heavy on fuel. Yeah, he's not taking tires.
Yeah, I mean, if you took tires earlier, you need to save those tires. You only have 4 complete tires to go on 150 laps. That is not a lot, so you do have to make sure that you're not overusing them. Luke Allen is going to lead us back to green from the stage, so we'll see how he fares out there. For him, he is on 14 lap-old tires, along with Joseph Turley. And then Josh Taylor, he went in 8 laps ago. John Honeycutt 14 laps ago. So a lot of these drivers have gone in, and Justin is going to be the first one back on those fresh tires.
I tell you, this is almost like we ran a heat and now we're inverting the field. That's literally the way it feels. So yeah, we've got a whole bunch of new front runners, and now we're gonna have to see if those cars that showed strength earlier, like the 4, like the 61, like the 00, like the 11, see if they can come on back through the field and show that they can work through traffic as well.
You know, it's interesting to see how these drivers go from Cup to Xfinity, which one they prefer, which one do they do better at. So Luke Allen doing a great job making his way up here, up 16 spots, along with Joseph Turley up 16 spots. So great job to them for making it up here. We'll see how they do at the start of stage 2. But Josh Taylor, we saw him involved earlier. He is up here sitting right where he started in the race. P3, and then John Honeycutt up 1 spot. And I do want to say, Gray Trout, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're doing well. Stratus, what's up? Hope you're doing well and healing fine. So great night for Atlanta, but it is loose.
Very, very loose. It's kind of interesting though. The track temp has actually come down a degree. Meanwhile, the air temp has gone from 71, 72 up to 79. So it's come down a little bit, maybe due to a little bit of shade on track or whatever it might be. But it looks like part of the track is a little cloudy, while the other half still very, very sunny and hot. But actually back down to 89. So we're going the wrong way as the day rolls on. Now 3 o'clock sim time. I tell you, Eliza, I'm a big fan of that 7 car. You know, in season 1, 2, and 3, he always swapped between like the Best Buy car or the Mizuno car. Now he's up here with Mountain Dew colors. I'm kind of digging that scheme.
I know, I do like it, and I love the paint schemes that these drivers are coming out with. You have these cup schemes that you're so used to seeing them out there last season, and then switching it up this season. I love it, and they are really coming out with some great schemes. It's great to see out here.
Oh, I tell you what, the FIWB Discord channel is constantly going with new schemes that are going out, and they keep up with each other, how they do in officials during the week and all that. Very, very lively bunch. They are iRacing homies, as they like to call each other.
Yeah, such a great group, and it's fun to see them out there together. And they always take great pictures, have great paint schemes, and yeah, it's fun to see friends out there doing what they love doing.
Absolutely. All right, pace cars pulling off that hard left towards pit road. 7 has had the choice. He's going to go ahead and grab that loud pedal. He's going to lead this one, and it's going to be stacked up all behind him.
Luke Allen with a great start, and John Honeycutt going to be side by side with Joseph Turley. These guys going to be battling it out. Let's take a look at this. I don't know why I did that, but side by side, John Honeycutt on that high side momentum, and we're going to have Joseph Turley try to tuck in right behind. 3 wide, not too much further back, and that is going to be Brendan Book, Josh Taylor, and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer as they start to settle 2 wide.
I tell you what, the 50 of John Honeycutt absolutely went full send underneath that 7. He went ahead, took the lead in that Nintendo Team FTR number 50, and give that driver a point for leading a lap as well. Here comes the Red Bull machine for Justin Aniscock, working his way back through on some fresh tires. Everybody around him came down right around lap 23, 29. He came down on lap 37, took the 4 brand new wheel feel goods with that stage brake. That 4 is charging hard.
Yeah, you know, that 4 is charging hard, and John Honeycutt is saying, no, don't charge. I want you guys to battle it out 2 and 3 wide, but he is on the move. He wants that lead back. He's done a great job tonight. He's a strong car to contend with, and he's trying to get that lead back.
How about Luke Allen just ran his fastest lap of the evening right there with a 31.75 after pitting on lap 23. That goes to show he got passed, but you know what? He's not giving up. He is still trying to get up, get after it, and hold on to as many spots as he can.
Absolutely. These guys are so competitive. I love it. You can see it on track and how they make their moves. They're not crazy about it, but man, they do have a lot of fun out here, and that's what you want to see. But John Honeycutt, these guys are going side by side. We have Justin on the inside with a nose out, but still it is so extremely close. Can you imagine if that was the finish? They are still on the move, and this battle will not be over shortly.
No, Justin was part of a side-by-side, I think I said earlier, 6 1,000th finish between him and Brian McCann last week at Daytona. I don't see any reason why we can't do it again this week.
And we most certainly are. These guys on top of each other, and yet there's still a gap. How do you manage to have that much of a battle and still put a gap on the guys behind you? But here is the situation we are in with Brendan Book leading the second pack here. He's got Joseph Turley behind him and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. These guys are going to start battling very shortly.
And 97, I don't know if he was thinking about trying to make that 3 wide. He had a big run up on the high side, decided to tuck in right behind Brendan Book. He's got the 61 of Micah Allard right behind. And of course, as you said, the 00, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer down low with a couple right behind him.
A very, very crowded track. A lot of drivers going for the same position, starting to single file out as we hit that second pack, but those front 2 drivers desperately trying to leave the field behind. But man, oh man, the 61 Micah gets loose. He has a fantastic save. Is going to bring it back out on track, but man, close call for him. We saw him get loose a lot in practice. He has a great save right here.
Absolutely, and only cost him 2 spots, so big save, able to stay in the throttle for the most part. He just allowed Steve Maggio and Philip Bridgman to work on by. They're back nose to tail. Here comes the 61, cutting low again.
Philip Bridgman directly in front of him. He's going to put him under pressure, just letting him know, hey, I'm here. I want my spot back, and I'm going to go after it. Philip Bridgman is going to hang out high while Micah is going to go down low and try to gain some spots back.
Yeah, Micah is one that will really test his tires every single lap. I mentioned before in practice, he was really testing to see where the limits were of the throttle and where he could get back on it without the back end coming around. I don't know if that's what that was or if there had to be a little bit of a checkup. Not 100% sure, but either way, great recovery as he gets around the 9 on the high side.
Absolutely, and you can see Philip Bridgman getting very loose on that low side. It is just a handful down there. You can see his steering wheel just sawing back and forth, trying to keep that thing straight. Definitely a battle against the car tonight. It's pretty overwhelming. But take a look. These guys are going. They were 3 wide. It looked like almost 4 wide. The 51 is going to lose it. That's going to be Steven Maggio hard into the wall. I don't know if that's going to bring out a caution. If he can keep it straight, he still goes. And magically, his car comes back together, Pete.
Yeah, back together. And he's actually stopped down on the apron. He went ahead and towed. I'm going to guess he had a meatball, but no yellow because it was all on the apron. Good job by the iRacing officials.
Lap 51 of 150. We still have quite a bit of racing left to go. The next stage end will be around lap 70. So these guys will have to do some management of their tires. Justin, a nice lead out, about a half a second ahead of John Honeycutt and Joseph Turley. He's going to lead that next pack, and that is going to include Micah, who is going to go out on top and get a nose out ahead, and that's going to be for P3.
I tell you what, I think Micah spun on purpose because he was able to heat up those tires just enough, and look at him absolutely charging. He lost 2 spots. He made those 2 spots up. He got around Turley. He got around Brendan Book. And he's right now, he's looking for John Honeycutt and more to try to take up. He wants to lead.
You can see on board with Micah that banking, just absolutely incredible. And you can hear the tire squealing. David says kind of surprised that wasn't a caution anyway. When you're down below the apron, if it is not affecting the other drivers, iRacing more than likely will not pull out the caution. So as it affected only Steven, he pulled it out into pit lane, and the race remains green.
It remains green, and Micah is absolutely loving it, getting underneath the team FTR. Number 50 for John Honeycutt. Move that 61 up to P2, and he's now just, 1.2 behind Justin Anscock. Justin better keep his eyes out the windshield. Don't worry about that rear view. Really just run your race, run your laps the way you've been doing it, and make the 61 really push to catch you and wear out his stuff.
I mean, Justin is just so incredibly strong out here. It's just it's pretty crazy. I know that he was not confident in Cup. He says he does more racing in Xfinity and a couple other vehicles, and you can absolutely tell that. I mean, his confidence out here, he just looks so incredibly strong and consistent, and that's how you bring home a championship. I mean, we saw him at Daytona leading so many laps and having a great shot at the win. He's doing a great job once again tonight at Atlanta, and it's not an easy track.
Yeah, at Daytona, he showed a lot of respect to Brian McCann. Said, you know what? He raced me clean. He didn't try to knock me up into the wall coming to the line. They ran side by side for a great photo finish. I think the 4 is very, very capable of taking the checkers for himself this week.
Absolutely. On board with Mike, and you can see he's got Justin in his sights, but he's got to work on it to make his way back up to Justin. And Justin's got some company up there ahead. That's going to be a lap car. But Micah, he does have company behind him that he's going to have to worry about and keep back there. And that is going to be his teammate, Brendan Book, in that 5 machine.
Yeah, Brendan Book just kind of staying right there in his tired tracks. And just as I say that, as they go through turns 1 and 2, 61 goes low. The 5 goes up high, trying to look for a little bit of clean air. But all of those cars behind him, including the 50 of Honeycutt and everybody else, one long conga line until about, P10 or 11, where they're double wide.
Let's take a look back here. I want to get a look. We have the 16 and the 86. That's going to be Riley Rosenbrook and Dylan C. Robb out here 2 wide, but they have since testing the water still, but they're going side by side. That is going to be for 13th. Quite the race. You can just see the track is filled with so much competition, a lot of squirrely cars. Man, oh man, it is very interesting back here. Let's go on board with Jacob Kerr. Take a look.
Yeah, a lot of screaming tires, a lot of screaming spotters, a lot of screaming drivers, wondering when this stage break is over. Only a handful of, or a couple of handfuls of laps yet to go. Mike Allard, Riley Rosenberg, and Josh Taylor all back here battling for 11, 12, and 13. Dylan Robb and Jose Ruiz rounds out the top 15. Most of them up by the wall, down the backstretch, heading into 3.
Yeah, you got to find where your line is at. That line is going to move throughout the race. It's going to tighten up a little bit here at Atlanta, but not much. You're going to have to make sure that you're not using up those tires too much and just be comfortable where you're at, because it can be very, very interesting. Take a look. Justin still out in the lead here. Man, oh man, take a look at that. He's got Brendan Book, who has made his way up to second. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in third, and Cody Kalinka, he's up here to P4.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened with the 61. He seems like he has fallen off hard all the way back to P9. Not quite sure if he scrubbed the wall or something else happened, but yeah, very clear 2-second gap between Anasagak and Book.
Woo!
Getting closer and closer to that stage break.
Yeah, Micah gets into the car above him just a little bit, almost some, oh man, take a look. These guys down low, going through the track. That 86 Riley Rosenbrook mid-side. These guys all over the place trying to hold on to the cars. Lap 62 of 150, and lap 70 is when the end of stage 2 will happen. We're going to close off pit lane 2 laps before that. So these guys got to hold on for a few more.
86, 61, 23, and so many more back here. This is literally a little bit of a hornet's nest. They are swapping positions lap after lap. Some guy stays up high, another one goes low. Their tires are worn, so they're able to pull a little bit of a crossover, a little bit of a slide job. All kinds of great racing going on about mid-pack.
Oh, there most certainly is. And take a look at this. Jimmy Cocker out here. P18 going side by side with Dylan C. Robb. We saw him get the stage win for stage 1. He's back here P17, but grabbed some much needed stage points as they ended stage 1 earlier on. Oh, trouble heading in. 2 cars having some issues. Jose Ruiz and Andrew Sanford going to be 2 people involved. No caution just yet, Pete.
Nope, no caution just yet. And the driver I was just about to talk about, the 14 of Jeff No, now up 12 spots with those 2 spinning off track. Jeff No kind of joined a little late, didn't get a whole lot of practice, and he has been pushing. He was up 10 before those 2 kind of slid down onto the apron. Move him up a couple more. Jeff No trying to knock onto the top 15.
Looked like Andrew Sanford went up the track a little bit into Jose. He had nowhere to go, and off they went into the wall. Once again, under the apron, so a caution was not brought out, but unfortunate for these 2 drivers.
All right, Eliza, so put away the broadcasting cap for a second. Put on your team owner cap. Do you want to see a caution because Jose Ruiz was part of that caution, and that way he's got a better chance at getting back some track position? Or are you all in favor of staying green when they're off the racing service?
Yeah, as team owner, I want to see a caution. You can see he's got some damage on that left front for Jose, and that's something that he's gonna have to fix. And it would be nice to see him be able to fix that and then just come out with 4 fresh tires and some fuel. But unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get that, which is good as a league owner, but team owner, I want to see him get that fixed up and get out there as quickly as possible.
Well, it's a long line all the way down the backstretch from about, P15 on back. And speaking of which, Jeff No is able to crack the top 15. We've got just a couple more laps before we get to the stage 2 break. So far, Justin Anasagak with a very clear 2.1 seconds over Brendan Book, P2, John Jurgensmeyer, P3, Andrew Wisdom, 4th, Tom Flitcroft in that 8 to get to P5, Cody Kalinka, John Honeycutt, Jacob Kerr, Mike Allard, and Joseph Turley for your top 10. Right now, if nobody passes them, that's where they stand. Those are the points they get.
Yeah, I mean, he's just looking so great out there. Obviously, his confidence is so much better in the Xfinity than it is for Cup, and he did really well in the Cup Series. But man, this is just on another level. These guys are having a really hard time trying to keep up with them. And take a look at Brendan Book. We saw him get very loose coming off exit, so I kind of want to take a look as he's making his way around, keeping above that first seam, kind of in that midsection. You can see getting really loose coming off of 4, and he's going to hold on to it, but it's going to cost him a little bit more time there, Pete.
Yeah, but John Jurgensmeyer not exactly right on his spoiler, not making him lose, nothing like that. Now Brendan Book way up high, all the way up by the wall. Kyle Larson line-ish, down the back stretch. Justin Anscock looks like he's going to take stage 2. Brendan Book, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer will be the top 3. Very, very spread out field.
It is starting to be a very spread out field in this next stage. The final stage is when it's going to get very interesting. That's when we are going to see, hopefully, some green flag pit stops and see what these guys are really made of, as far as getting into pit lane, making it to their box, what call they're going to take, and then getting back out on track with worn out tires. It is extremely difficult to make it safely into pit road if you have not practiced it.
Yeah, and that would be the first attempt at green flag pit stop. So again, pit road has been closed the last lap or two. Coming to the stage break here, it'll be interesting to see what happens when or if we have that one green flag pit stop in stage 3. How well they do. You talked about how loose they are getting off the banking down to pit road speed earlier. Well, let's see what happens here. See if they actually break it down the middle or what they do. Stage 2 is in the books.
Yeah, I'm not expecting anyone to stay out. I mean, these guys are going to come in, get those fresh tires, fuel up, and come back out, start fresh for the 3rd stage. You will have to pit this stage. You can get, it kind of varies. When I drove it, I got around 50 laps in a fuel tank, and I have other drivers saying up to 60. So it really just depends, and it also depends on how well you take care of those tires. I've said it before, I'll say it so many more times. Tires, you got to take care of them. But these guys will be going in and starting fresh here.
You know what? To your point on tires, big credit, great shout out to both Brendan Book and John Honeycutt. Brendan Book was last on pit road lap 29. He didn't come down lap 37 with everybody else. Same thing with John Honeycutt in that Team FTR number 50. He was on pit road last on lap 23, able to take P7. So Brendan Book on some old tires compared to everybody else, able to hold on for that runner-up spot in stage 2.
Yeah, great job for Brendan Book and a lot of these guys coming out here and putting those laps on those tires. Everyone coming into pit lane. No surprise there. And I see a couple of guys staying out. Take a look at who that is, and it looks like it might be Christopher Karch. We'll see, find out who that is.
I think Chris Karch is possibly trying to maybe get the wave around. It might have been the lucky dog or something like that. Yep, he's taking a wave around the pace car.
Absolutely. So these guys will be making their way out. Huge race coming off of pit lane as these drivers are just pushing it to the edge, trying to get everything that they can. Let's take a look, but Justin doing a great job. Brendan Book going to be 2nd off the line. Flitcroft 3rd. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in 4th. Cody Kalinka is going to round out your top 5.
Big shout out to Chris Karch as well. I talked to him. He actually sent me a message before the race started. Said, Pete, if you see me blinking, please let me know as early as possible. Last week, the guy was blinking, a bit in practice and also during the race. He went out and bought all new hardware and some Ethernet cables to make sure that everything he had was great. Haven't seen him blink a single time. He's got a great connection to the server. That 40 is holding strong.
Absolutely. I want to go ahead and get Mr. Justin in here and see how it's going for him. Justin, it's Eliza in the booth. How are you?
Good.
You're looking really solid out there. I know you were not as much of a fan in the Cup cars as you are Xfinity. How you feeling out there?
I'm loving it. I'm still not as good. as I am in the trucks, but I'm still learning. First time being on here with this car, so still learning a lot how to get around here on the at least on the long run. It was kind of tight in traffic behind the 42 in that first stage, and then it started getting a little tight in the middle of 1 and 2, and then a little loose coming out of 4. But overall, it seems pretty good, fun right now.
So you're just having fun out there, slick conditions. How do you think stage 3 is going to go?
I hope it goes green. I want to see how pit stops go. If we can get a green flag pit stop in and go from there.
Absolutely. Well, I wish you a ton of luck. You're looking solid.
Yep, thank you.
Go get him, sir.
Yep.
All right, you heard it from Justin Anasagak. I think I said it correctly.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Nice. But yeah, solid car, and man, it's crazy to drive this, see how loose it is, and then he drives it like it's no problem whatsoever, Pete.
Yeah, Justin Anscock, he has been around. He's one of the guys that switched over to iRacing when the console games were really starting to have more and more issues, and he has done absolutely great. He's adapted well. He's still running in a lot of different leagues, a lot of different vehicles, and yeah, he's moving up the iRacing ranks, sitting at about a 3,400 I rating, typical A license. So good for him.
Absolutely. These guys are getting ready to go back to green for the final stage here. A lot of points for a lot of drivers. It's just interesting to see how, your finish in a race may not be where you are in points as far as Daytona went since you had the stage points. So I can't wait to see how it's going to change things up for Atlanta here.
I tell you, everybody's all racked and stacked, back up, ready to go back green for the final stage. Aaron, track temp still kind of fluctuating a little bit, right back to about 90-degree track in 79 air. Green flag is out. 8 of Flitcroft all over the back end of that 4. 5 on the outside with Jurgensmeyer right behind, going into 1.
Man, no one getting away. Justin, a great start, but right behind him, teammates Tom Flitcroft and Brendan Book are going to be side by side. Then you got Jonathan Jurgensmeyer side by side with Cody Kalinka. So these guys, we do have some trouble back in the field, and that's going to be Matthew Gale, who has crashed back here. Let's see if we can get a view and if he's okay. I'm not sure that he hit the wall, but we are still green, Pete.
That's still green flag, top 5, top 6, all single file going into turns 1 and 2. John Honeycutt says, oh yeah, watch this. Goes up high around the 79 to Cody Kalinka. He's going to have a little bit of a draft off the top 4. The 50 takes P5.
A lot of smoke flying off the track back there. Not quite sure what's happening, but there's quite a few happenings. But Justin is going to still be leading this field. Brendan Book gonna catch back up to his bumper and perhaps challenge him for the lead. We'll see if he tries to sneak down underneath or if he'll take the high side and hope that momentum will carry him through. And it looks like he's going to take that high side.
Yeah, went up high, really gave a whole lot of room to the 4, didn't try to pinch him down, so he wasn't able to get back in the throttle. But now the 5 is going to take the low line, 4 is going to stay up high. 4 has no choice, has to surrender the lead. Brendan Book to the lead.
Yeah, new leader right there, but it is far from over, as we keep saying. But lap 79 of 150, this is a crazy race. And David, I see you out there. I think you should. It would be a lot of fun to see out here. You'd have a lot of fans, that's for sure. But Brendan Book and that 5 machine out here leading a lap. We'll see if he can't lead a few more. Strong night for Brendan.
Absolutely, yeah. So for David, I would definitely give iRacing a try. Got to go through, get your rookie license, your D license, C license, B license. Work through the licensing. Don't rush it. Really get used to iRacing and how the different vehicles handle. And then, hey, you never know. You could be out here amongst some of these really, really good drivers from many different leagues and challenge them yourself.
Top 5 drivers in a pack here, and it looks like 3 wide for the lead. Tom Flitcroft going to challenge these two for the lead. Brendan Book thinks better of it and backs out of this 3-wide challenge. Justin goes straight to the lead from it, and these guys, all 5 of them, are in the mix for some competitive racing in the top 5. How about that? Absolutely crazy.
Absolutely. 5 now in the lane underneath the 8, trying to keep as much air as he can on the nose of his car. Jurgensmeyer making a move to the inside of the 5. The 50 of John Honeycutt right behind, getting back, and looks like Flitcroft to the lead.
Flitcroft goes to the lead, and man, these guys are getting slideways through the corner. How about that? But man, Tom Flitcroft to the lead at Atlanta. Let's have it for him, man. Side by side once again, though. Justin gonna have a nose out, snag the lead for a few. We'll see if he can hold on to it, but that high side will have the momentum. Tom's gonna take it back.
Yeah, the 8 up high, 4 down low. The 8 should really be trying to pinch that 4 down so he can't get back in the throttle and able to open that wheel. The 8 won every single restrictor plate race last season except for Talladega. Very, very good at the new Atlanta, and had a whole lot of friends to help him with that. So how about this 8 getting it done at Legacy Atlanta so far?
You gotta love it. He says probably gonna crash. Hopefully not. Tom Flitcroft, known him for the longest time back on Xbox Day, so it's always great to be out here racing with him. Such a fun guy. But man, he's right ahead of Justin. These guys are not going to let him get away. He's going to have to save those tires too. He's got an uphill battle to climb. Racer, I see you out there slideways for sure.
Yeah, all kinds of hard racing. Top 3, all nose to tail. The 61 Micah Allard trying to work his way back forward. He's to the inside of the 50 of John Honeycutt. Brendan Book back to P6, right where he started the race. Cody Kalinka 7th, up 8 spots. Jimmy Cocker down 4, sitting 8th. Not in 9th, up 9 is going to be Joe Turley. And to round out the top 10, Josh Taylor, who's down 7 after having a great P3 start, sitting 10th.
The 11 is going to be Jordan McGraw, just looking on that top 10. Jacob Kerr is going to be in 12th with Jeff No sitting P13. And 14th, we're going to have Andrew Wisdom with 15 is going to be Francis Hamilton.
Yeah, Dylan C-Rob in that number 16. He's up 8 spots in P16. How about that? Luke Allen started 17th. Well, that's right where he rides, 17th. So nothing gained, nothing lost. Was able to lead a lap earlier, so he's got that point in the bag. Mike Papa Bear Campbell, he's up 12 spots in that number 71 to 18th. 19th, down 11 in that 86. Going to be Riley Rosenbrook. And for Team FTR, talking about Jose Ruiz in that 23, sitting 20th.
Philip Bridgman in 21st with Andrew Sanford involved in an earlier incident, sitting P22. Kevin Dallator in 23rd. In 24th, we're going to have Connor Cunningham. 25th is Chuck Cody. 26th is Oscar Henson. 27th is Matthew Gale. And then we have a couple of drivers lap down or more, Pete.
Yeah, the last one running right now is going to be Jarrett Cardwell, sitting 28th. Chris Karch and Jacob Palmer, as you mentioned, had some troubles. Chris Karch looks like he might be retired or something else going on, but Jacob Palmer is out on track in his number 39.
Justin is still leading this race, sitting in that 4 machine. Tom Flitcroft, since we saw him last, has fallen 2 spots, but still up 13 spots from where he started. So not a bad race for him. We're on lap 88 of 150, coming to 89. Still a ton of racing left, and I want to see, Pete, I want to see those green flag stops. This is where it's going to really start to separate these drivers.
Well, it'll be their one and only green flag stop. And I'm kind of curious, once we get to about lap 110 to 115, once these guys have gone 40 or 45 laps, do they decide to split it? Or do they see who in the unfamiliar territory of that kind of a long run has some kind of an issue, brings out a caution, and they benefit from it? It'll be interesting to see who plays what kind of strategy.
if I'm near Justin, I want to take a look at when he's going in. If he's going in, I'm going in right after him. He seems to be so strong, so consistent out here. I want to do what he's doing because he's going to have the fastest lap time to keep up with as far as being out front. If not, I'm thinking about possibly just splitting it halfway.
Well, you're not kidding about the fastest lap time. The man has been 0.2 faster than Micah Allard in his 39. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer ran a 37, 34 for John Honeycutt. But yeah, the fastest man in Atlanta all evening long so far. Justin Aniscock leading in that Red Bull number 4. Micah Allard has been able to work his way on up to P2 after some issues earlier. Tom Flitcroft back to P3. Brandon Book and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Eliza, it seems like the top 5 is kind of stabilized.
Absolutely. These guys are still on the move. A lot of racing left to be had. But man, a long line for them in Skyland in chat, who's Chris Karch. He says, well, that was fun. We saw him at an earlier incident, nowhere to go. I'd love to have a chat with him if he's available, see what happened.
Yeah, Skyland, Chris Karch, always a lot of fun. Actually got to hang out with him and a whole bunch of others at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the 600. Great guy, great gang. Would love to do it again sometime. Yeah, Chris, tough sledding tonight in that number 40, but you'll get him next week.
I'm pretty sure this is his first league on iRacing. Yep. He is brand new on here, and I'll tell you what, doing a great job considering. Just unfortunate place at the unfortunate time. So we'll see if we can get a word from him. I don't want to bring him in here if he's not expecting it, but would love to hear.
All right, Eliza, it looks like a lot of single file racing right now from Justin Aniscock all the way back through about Cody Kalinka sitting 8th. A little bit of a break then back to Joe Turley, and even more throughout the rest of the field that's still running. But how about that? Even though we have had a couple of cautions, there's still, 29 cars, 30 cars out here on track competing as we're getting closer and closer to lap 100. We'll be coming to lap 95 next time by. And the 4's still leading the way, but nobody is just going to let him roll.
I agree. We'll see what he can do out here, but I don't know. He's on his own little island. He's looking strong, and when we talked to him, he sounded really confident, said the car felt great. So I don't expect anything crazy. I think these guys are just going to have a hill to climb to try to get to him, and he's just doing great out there.
Yeah, he seems extremely comfortable, really steady on the wheel. He's not having to fight it so much. You see others that are just slideways coming off the corner, trying to find which line works for them. Well, the benefit of the 4 is he spent so much time in the clean air. He knows exactly what he can expect out of his car, and he's just stable like a rock.
Absolutely. We have Chris Karch in the booth. We saw him, unfortunately, in that 40 machine out for the night. Chris, take us through what happened in the incident earlier on.
I'm not 100% sure. I know coming down the backstretch, I touched off the wall and moved down maybe half the lane, but it looks like the 2 car was maybe trying to side draft as well. And as I came down, he was coming up and hooked and gone.
Yeah, just unfortunate to see out here. I know you're newer. How has your experience been? I know you were involved in Daytona shenanigans and now here tonight, but overall, are you liking iRacing?
It has been a very unique challenge. When I can complete a race in a full field, I'll let you know if I like it. I feel like I have not been able to give it a truly fair shake just yet. It's been really challenging and interesting to learn. I knew oval racing would be different. I wasn't sure how, and I definitely feel like I have satisfied my curiosity on that front. I just have to see if I can learn it.
Yeah, it's a whole different beast. I know you have a lot of road course experience and whatnot, but oval is very tight out here in these cars. It's a whole different beast to try to learn, but it's great seeing you out here. I love seeing you out there on F1 and now out here on iRacing. So welcome, welcome, and hopefully we can get you through an entire race next week.
Yeah, I'm gonna cross my fingers.
Thanks for chatting with us, Chris.
All right, have a good broadcast, guys.
Take it
Thank
easy.
you. All right, we're on board with John Honeycutt sitting currently P3, and he's leading this next field. Meanwhile, you see Brennan Book up ahead on his own little island trying to catch Justin, who has just made his way past the 12 car. But man, oh man, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer sitting P4, Jimmy Cocker. He is back up here once again, out in the top 5, Pete.
Yeah, Jimmy Cocker, he is strong no matter what he pilots, whether it's a Cup car, the Xfinity, the trucks, it does not matter. He is a consummate competitor, very, very team-oriented, always willing to cheer on the next part of Team FIWB. But something that Chris said just a moment ago, and you were talking about the road course experience that he has. I swear, when I'm watching your broadcast for that side of Shake and Bake, I swear those guys have like Jedi maneuvers. Reflexes. They have to take those turns so fast, the quick lefts, the quick rights, the straight ahead. It is so much different than oval racing, completely different discipline. I think as quickly as Jarrett Cardwell or JCX12 has taken to it, or Jordan McGraw, J-Mac, or Kerr, or any of those, I think he is going to be the next one to adapt to the iRacing side, get completely hooked, and he's going to do well once he gets his feet wet a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Sky is just so knowledgeable and so talented in these machine, like any car you put him in, he's great at. So I think if he can put in some time, he will be extremely solid. But Superior Blaze, who is one of our race control, Brian Pizzichemi, he says, this race has been somewhat cleaner than I expected. You and me both, Brian, you and me both.
And I'm thankful.
Let's not jinx it too much, though, right? Knock on some wood. But Jacob NASCAR in that 39 machine says the Night Owl machine is out. Cars loaded up in the RSS hauler. We'll get ready for next week at Rockingham. How about that? Next week at Rockingham. That's going to be a wild race, wild track. These cars are notoriously a little more loose than what you expect, especially compared to the Cup cars, who seem to be tighter and then just break loose out of nowhere. So interesting ride out here. We'll see how it goes next week at Rockingham.
Well, Eliza, I hate to say this for the rest of the field, but the guy that's leading the race right now, the last time I broadcasted a race for another league from the Rock, Justin Nance got very, very strong. Absolutely loves racing at Rockingham.
All right, so I gotta say, Pete, I mean, I know it is so early out here, but Justin, he's out here doing an incredible job. He's out front at Daytona, here tonight at Atlanta. Do you think he's got a chance at a championship this season?
Boy, that is a loaded question.
Right?
Yeah, that is very loaded. I think so. I mean, if he's as consistent, if he's not just having a string of comfort tracks, or so to call them, I think it's very possible. Yeah. I mean, he's got some strong competition. Andrew Wisdom, when I talked to him earlier, is not 100% comfortable with these Xfinity cars, which is why we're not seeing him up front leading all laps. But you know what? We haven't got to our first road course race yet. I think Justin Scott could be a big threat, if not for the championship, at least for the top 3.
I agree. I think it'll be really wild to see. Andrew Wisdom, though, last season's champion, he's up 14 spots, currently sitting P5, so he's making a very, very strong comeback. Cody Kalinka, who we've seen a huge improvement in Cup Series, he's already doing great here in the Xfinity Series, so I'd love to talk to him and see how he feels about Xfinity cars overall. But Justin, it'll be wild to see if we can't get him a championship or someone else that we didn't see in the Cup Series get out there. Andrew Wisdom, he's got 2 under his belt. Who's going to be next?
Yeah, it could very well be the 4. It could be Tom Flitcroft. It could be the 61 of Micah Allard. It could be any of these guys that are wheelmen or wheel ladies. Excuse me. Gotta be, gotta be right. But no, I really think that any of these guys that we're talking about week in and week out, irregardless of the style of the track, the grip of the track, whether or not they can handle it in the day's heat or whatever the case may be, whether it's short track, super speedway, road course, intermediate, 1.5 mile, 2 mile. There's so many different disciplines of racing, and you got to be able to get them all done and put every single race together when the competition is this strong to grab that championship.
Absolutely. And man, I was just on board with Tom Flitcroft, and he was going 3 wide with his teammates Micah and Cody Kalinka, and you can see him just all over the wheel. These guys, teammates or not, they are out for every position they can take. And we're on lap 110 of 150. I think, Pete, that in the next 10 or so laps, we're going to see some drivers start to come in.
We're right there. We have now run 40, or actually might be 38 laps, depending on when it went back green. But yeah, working lap 110 of 150. So this is pretty much halfway in the final stage. So it'll be interesting to see who got onto pit road during practice and made those extra pit stops to make sure that they had their brake bias tuned in. They were able to find out what their mark was, where they were comfortable, how fast they were able to get on and off of pit road, where they were able to hit that signboard. So much can happen on a pit stop. But Eliza, how about Matty Joy fan says, this has been crazy. I'm going to have to go back and watch last week's race. Matty, you're in for a treat from Daytona.
Absolutely. And Cody Kalinka, he is the first one to make his way into pit lane, coming back out in that 79 machine. So we'll see how he fares as he makes his way out. But looks like our longest stint was going to be around 49 laps put by John Honeycutt. As far as the top 8 goes, I can't speak for the remainder of the field, but it's going to be interesting to see how long these guys stay out, because like I said, anywhere from 50 to 60 laps, you can make it. But I don't know that these guys will try to take it that far. And we do have some more takers for pit lane. Jonathan Jurgens Meyer, Micah, Tom Flitcroft, Joseph Turley, a few in pit lane.
Yeah, Jacob Kerr, he's down as well. I tell you what, if I'm the 5 of Brendan Book and I'm as strong as I am, I'm going to try to pit 1 or 2 laps before that 4. Yeah, he's going to be a little bit weaker, a little bit later on, but if he can get on up there and keep the 4 behind him, keep the dirty air as the race goes on, it seems like in the long run, these two have kind of been the creme de la creme of this field. But yeah, 4 and 5, very, very strong, only separated by half a second. If I'm Brendan Book, I'm going down and trying to leapfrog the 4 off of pit road.
Our top 20 on is going to be the ones that have gone out. Now they're making their way back on track, a very crowded track as they make their way out. But our leaders still out there. Justin, he is just under half a second ahead of Brendan Book, and we have Josh Taylor. He is making his way in along with Andrew Sanford. So they are going to be our next drivers onto pit lane.
Absolutely. Top 2 absolutely pulling away. Jimmy Cocker right now sitting P3 in his number 11 Toyota. Andrew Wisdom, you mentioned him before. He's up to 4th, up 15 spots. Luke Allen cracks the top 5 yet again. And it looks like Brendan Book is actually able to reel in the 4 over time. So I don't know if the 4 was pushing earlier to stay ahead of everybody or what's going on, but the 5 on that long run, it looks like Book has the tires.
He's definitely reeling him in right now, and I want to take a look to see how Justin is handling his machine. He's riding that mid side right there, making his way out of 4. Seems to be handling okay. Let's go on over to Brendan Book and see how he's driving it. You can see him right behind Justin. That's going to be our leader directly in front of him. Both taking the same line, Pete.
Yeah, taking the same line and looking at the driver cam for Brendan Book. Looking on board with the cockpit, his car is not loose off the corner, not really having to fight it. He's actually driving the car off the corner. He's not at 12 o'clock in the middle of 3 and 4, just hoping that he's not going to smack the wall as they come across the start stripe. 5 now all over the back end of that 4.
He sure is. And we have more takers for pit lane. Luke Allen, Jordan McGraw, Riley Rosenbrook. These guys all making their way in. You can see Riley really woeing it down there onto pit lane. They do have to stay on that right side until they get at least within 3 pit stalls of their stall. So they do have to be careful about that. That way they do not run into any other drivers as he ghosts out there.
All right, so yeah, the 86 see him on pit road. Looks like the 4 and the 5 both able to lap a couple more, but they have yet to go down pit road to grab their Eagle Feel Goods, and it's very possibly their last ones for the race, coming to lap 120 next time by of 150.
Ooh.
So these guys are going to have some very, very strong tires for the final 30 plus or 30 and less laps to go.
You can see a little bit of chaos going on behind Brendan Book. I don't know if it was that 88, but Brendan Book making his way on in. Justin is going to stay out. Andrew Wisdom, he makes his way on in. And man, it looks like Andrew Wisdom was flying. I will not be surprised if he gets a speeding penalty, though how fast he was entering.
Yeah, the 5 of Brendan Book, he also had to lock him up. Big slide for him coming to the commitment cone. I don't know if he got slowed down in time or not. I guess we'll have to see if he has to serve that black flag. But Justin Aniscock, he's also going to go ahead and come on down pit road, not to give too much of an advantage to the 5. He's just as aggressive getting across those yellow cones.
Our leader makes his way in, and yeah, he is doing a great job. Brendan Book was fine on his time, along with Wisdom. 14.7 for Wisdom in the pit stall. Brendan Book gets 14.8. They are out, and meanwhile, Connor Cunningham making his way in.
Yeah, Connor Cunningham down. That's going to hand the lead to Francis Hamilton. Jose Ruiz going to be P2. Jeff No, P3. Those guys were last down pit road, lap 72 or 73. Everybody else, the latest rather, is going to be right around 112. So there's only 5 or 6 more drivers that have to make their trip down pit road to work their way all the way to the checkered flag.
All right, Pete, I want to see this go green. I say this, and I'm really hoping we don't have a caution. I want to see how these green flag stops affected these drivers. Who's going to come out on top? How much of a separation will we see? I mean, we've had a couple of drivers go in at a lot different times than the drivers before or after them. So I want to see what it's going to do to this race.
Well, I mean, we could look at, I was just looking at, hold on one second. I just saw him for a moment and then I kept on going through the field. Oh, Micah Allard, there we go. In that number 61 Camaro. He went down very, very early, right around lap 112. He had a 1485 pit stop, and he's been able to get past everybody else that was ahead of him on track when he hit pit road. So that was the difference of going down, grabbing his newer tires while everybody else was running, 33, 34 second lap times. He was running 31 and 32s. So Micah Allard, he is going to be the new leader once Jeff No, Jose Ruiz, and Frank Hamilton come down for their last stop.
Yeah, we've kind of seen him all over the place, up front, out back, midfield, but he's doing a great job as far as pit stops go and making his way back through the field. So we'll see where he heads out. But Francis Hamilton, he is enjoying this lead so far. We've seen him up 6 spots from where he started. Jeff No up 26 spots, and he heads into pit lane. And I want to say, Kerblam King, thank you so much for the sub. 10 months, absolutely incredible. Says, hello, lovelies. Hope all is well. It is, and I heard about your issues with your PC and Steam, so I hope you got that figured out.
Well, Jose Ruiz, he's got that number 23 Toyota figured out. He's up high, wide, and handsome. Again, last time he was on pit road was lap 73. Right now up 9 spots. I don't know if he's going to try to hold out a little bit, maybe go one more than Francis Hamilton so he can go ahead and take a point for leading a lap. We'll have to wait and see, but those are the last 2. So everybody else has gone down pit road. No issues, no yellow flags. Clean on, clean off. We're away.
All right, well, I gotta say, where is Justin? Do you see him out there? I'm trying to find him. Yeah.
Back in 23rd.
Something happened with him.
Yeah, pit time of 48.62.
I want to say he got a penalty for pit lane speeding, perhaps. But so unfortunate to see. I was looking for him to find out where. Sitting P23. Yes, Superior says he got a penalty on pit road. Man, absolutely devastating considering the race that he had. You know that man is frustrated.
Absolutely. If anybody wanted to see a caution, it's probably him. I haven't quite checked yet whether he's the first car one lap down or where he is. But he's not the first car one lap down. It's going to be a couple guys ahead of him. So right now, he's hard on that throttle, really trying to catch up, pass a couple people. That way, if that yellow should happen to fly in these last 22 or 23 laps, he'll be able to be the free pass and try to get back up there and really challenge.
Absolutely heartbreaking. Cody Kalinga sitting P23. So some of these drivers having issues on pit lane. But Francis Hamilton still remaining in the lead with 22 to go. Let's take a look at his stint length. 55 lap old tires, same as Jose. These guys, oldest tires out there. I can't imagine. There's absolutely no way I want to say that they can hang out there. We'll see, but Superior Blaze says unsafe pit entry for Justin. That was the penalty for him.
I did see his right front go across the yellow cone, so that is what it is. Leader down. Jose Ruiz stays out. That Columbia number 23, he's going to go ahead and grab a point for leading a lap if he was able to pass Hamilton on the track before they got to the start stripe. So we'll have to see if the 23 stays out for another one or if he comes on down this time. But how about Jose Ruiz leading the way up 10 spots in that Toyota?
Yeah, I know he ran into some trouble earlier on, this FTR driver, Jose Ruiz. So definitely some needed points for him. Glad to see him out there. I know he's probably going to have to come in. Let's take a look at, he's on the same tires, 57 lap old tires. He will be coming in shortly, but great to see him out here out front. Micah, huge turn right in front of Jose. These guys getting a little squirrely.
Yeah, Micah not only passing him low, but coming up right in front of him as well as the 23 comes on down pit road. This is the last car. He does it safely. Full round, the green flag pit stops for the entire Xfinity field. All 30-plus drivers good to go.
Racer X says a whole lot of trouble in the pits here tonight. You are not kidding. RC Action says, hey, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. It's crazy out here tonight. 19 to go. Micah leading the field with some great strategy. A lot of driving all night. Unfortunately, Justin, terrible pit stop for him. Something that, he will be really frustrated about for a couple of days after this one.
Hey, but I mentioned it before. We're going to Rockingham, and I know he absolutely loves that track. So Micah Allard, by virtue of coming down pit road 3 laps before Jimmy Cocker, he's now got a 1.2 and shrinking lead over that 11. Brendan Book, who came in 1 lap before the 4 of Justin Anaskog, he's up to P3, 1.8 back or so. And he was on pit road 7 laps after Micah Allard. So that 5 is going to be coming, and I don't think they're going to be able to hold him off. Brendan Book could be poised to grab his first W of this season.
Yeah, you know what? He had some traffic around him, looking fine so far, but Andrew Wisdom directly behind him. That is for position. He's sitting P4, up 15 spots from where he started. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, he's been consistent tonight also. He's sitting P5, and I guarantee if he can keep it like he is, we'll see him finish out the race P5 and have some nice points. John Honeycutt sitting 6th, Tom Flitcroft in 7th, Cody Kalinka up here in 8th, Luke Allen in 9th, and Josh Taylor. We saw him in an earlier incident. He's out here in the top 10.
Yeah, how about Josh Taylor in that deuce, sitting 10th. He's still down 7 after a great qualifying effort. Behind him, you see Andrew Sanford in 11th, up 2, up 14 spots. Going to be Jacob Kerr. Big welcome back to him, sitting P12. P13, down 5 is going to be the 86 of Riley Rosenbrook. 14th is going to be the 16 of Dylan Robb. He's up 10 spots. Up 13 in P15, Connor Cunningham. Francis Hamilton, Jeff No, Philip Bridgman, Kevin Dallentor, and Jose Ruiz to round out the top 20. So Jose Ruiz recently leading after staying out for a long time to get that point back to P20.
Yeah, and 21st is going to be Justin, who we saw leading so much of the race. I'm just heartbroken for him. Check Cody in 30 for in 22nd in that 31 machine. Mike Papa Bear Campbell sitting P23 with Matthew Gale 24th, Joseph Turley 25th. Not sure what happened to Jordan McGraw, but he currently sits P26.
Yeah, Oscar Henson's out there on track, down 5 spots in 27th for that 88. Jarrett Cardwell still out there on track, even though he was damaged and he's down laps, sitting 28th. That's how you make up points, Eliza, by not giving up. Jacob Palmer, he's out. Christopher Karch also out. Steve Maggio and Brody Fowler all out of tonight's race. Looking forward to Rockingham for them.
Micah has fallen back to P4. A new leader is going to be Brendan Book. He's got Andrew Wisdom right behind him in 2nd, Jimmy Cocker in 3rd. And man, oh man, could this be a first-time win for Brendan Book this season? We'll find out in 12 laps, but the race is far from over. Andrew Wisdom is looking at getting a win, along with Jimmy Cocker, who we haven't seen a win in a couple of seasons, I believe.
Yeah, Brendan Book and Andrew Wisdom, they were both down pit road on lap 119. Jimmy Cocker was down on 115. Micah Allard 112, right along with Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. So varying laps as far as when they went down pit road throughout the top 10. But with the top 2 on the same age of tires, I think it's really going to be all about who's able, as the 5 tags the wall, that's going to break his momentum. He's got the 1 right up his trumpet, looking to the inside.
Yeah, Andrew Wisdom going side by side. He's going to have a lead out, but they're going to make some contact. Brendan's going to go into the wall. Andrew Wisdom is going to go out to the lead. Jimmy Cocker going to allow him to go side by side. I don't know if he's going to have enough momentum, but Brendan not going to be happy about getting into the wall, whether that was these two just racing deal or if that was on Andrew.
Yeah, that 5 would be interesting to see if he's got any kind of damage to that right side. Definitely tagged that wall a decent amount. The 11 is not able to clear him, but the 1 now clear everybody. Season 2 and 3's champion, Andrew Wisdom, with all kinds of clean air on that number 1 machine.
Yeah, Andrew Wisdom, our 2-time champion here, takes over that 1 car and brings it into the lead with 9 to go, coming to 8. So he is looking solid, but I know Brendan Book isn't going to be happy about just sitting there. But man, oh man, he is looking loose, and they've got Jose in between them. We'll see if Brendan can make his way back up, but it's going to be tough considering that even a little bit into the wall can hurt a lot.
Yeah, Jose Ruiz going ahead and getting his lap back the old-fashioned way. That's going to put him in P18. Jeff No right ahead of him, as well as Francis Hamilton. Behind him on track, Justin Aniscock and Philip Bridgman. So that battle for the first car one lap down, just as heated as the battle for the lead.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at Andrew Wisdom. He is out. That gap seems to be increasing almost to half a second out here. Brennan Book in second. Jimmy Cocker still sitting P3, but you can hear these cars really struggling as we only have 7 to go. This race is winding down, and Pete, I know Brian said it in chat, but I'm impressed with how well these drivers have done tonight, because I can tell you the laps I did were just so incredibly loose. It was difficult to keep it under you.
You know, it's kind of interesting. Sometimes we'll come into a race and the driver's like, oh, this is going to be really crazy. We're going to see a whole bunch of cautions. And not only at like short tracks or like Bristol or Martinsville or whatever, it could be some of the bigger tracks as well. They say that during practice and during Q and whatever, but when when all the chips are on the table, these guys are phenomenal drivers, very respectful of each other, and they do a phenomenal job and always have ever since season 1, race 1. I'm very impressed with this whole core group of Shake and Bake drivers.
And speaking of impressed, Kerblam King says Brennan Book with a glorious mustache. Some of these guys do, most definitely. 5 to go here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Wisdom out in the lead, and he kind of came out of nowhere. I'm surprised, but not, because he was not having the best race I've seen from him. Here he is out in the lead, and that's when it matters most. You get those bonus points. Stage points are nice too, but I don't know. We might see a win from Wisdom tonight.
I tell you what, if the 5 is able to hold on inside the top 3, I'd be very, very curious to ask him if that car is handling was handling any different before he tagged the wall than it was when he was racing right behind the 4 of Justin Aniscock, because those two were absolutely just pulling away. And I got to share the same feeling as Matty Joy fan out there saying, dang, I thought the 5 had it. I thought the 5 would have had it as well, the way that he was holding out. P2, yellow's out.
Yellow is out, and is going to be Jacob Kerr involved. Let's see if we can find out where he is. Man, oh man. Was not expecting that one. Already out here, 67, Matthew Gale perhaps. Looks like Jacob Kerr maybe got into, he got hard into the wall. I'm not sure if a tire let go, but hard into the wall, came down, nowhere for the 67 to go. That's going to bring out a late race caution here.
Yeah, that's all the way through. That's off of 4, getting into, that's a lot of wall.
That is a lot of wall. 3 to go, and that's going to switch things up. I know Andrew Wisdom not looking forward to that. These guys are going in using probably their last set of tires, giving it a go. They're going to give it their all here. It's going to get a little crazy on this next restart, Pete.
Eliza, elbows out.
You said it.
It is going to be go time. Green, white checker. This is going to be a phenomenal stop. It's got to be great, full speed all the way down pit road without speeding. I don't think any real games are going to be played. I believe everybody here is going to take 4. Look at the 5 challenging the 1 at the exit of pit road. Very, very close. The 61 of Micah Allard also there. John Honeycutt, though, he also came down, and he's going to leave as the leader in that Nintendo Team FTR number 50.
Yeah, he sure is. A great call strategy for him, making his way out. We'll see how it plays out in these final few laps here. Justin, I saw that he's now making his way in, sitting P17 on pit lane. Cody Kalinka, Jose Ruiz on pit lane. John Honeycutt going to lead the field back to green. Andrew Wisdom in second. Brennan Book in third. Micah consistently out here in the top 5. He's going to be P4. Jimmy Cocker going to round out the top 5.
Yeah, Jurgensmeyer, Flitcroft, Allen, Taylor, and Sanford. That too has had a very, very interesting race. He's had some issues, been up front, he's had speed, had a great Q lap. It's going to be interesting to see what Josh Taylor does here on this restart and how much room he's going to be able to gain before before that checkered flies. What he's able to do before he even gets to the white. But there is a lot to do. I think the 5 starting P3 with Andrew Wisdom on the outside, Honeycutt on the inside. Honeycutt, he only took with a 9.9 pit stop. I'm going to guess his right side tires and maybe just a splash of fuel to get out first, hoping he doesn't have any issues on this restart.
Yeah, that restart definitely tire spin and whatnot. If you're taking just one side of tires, it's definitely going to affect how it handles. We'll see how much so on this restart, but Brendan Book right behind him, it's going to get crazy. I'm a little nervous for these guys, a lot excited, but that definitely shook things up.
Racer wreck. Buckle on up. Hot, Lana.
Oh,
no
man.
kidding.
Yeah, 5th caution of the night. Some of those were stage cautions. So very interesting to see how these stage cautions, have played a factor in the races for Daytona and here tonight at Atlanta. Brand new for SnB to bring out stage cautions. So it's fun to see how these guys do. And they did make a green flag pit stop. See how it goes here on this restart.
John Honeycutt, he could be very, very aggressive when it comes time to grab a checker. I can't blame him at all for this strategy. He's got the clean air. He's got at least right side tires, I would imagine. He's probably really, really light on the fuel cell if he took any at all. You see him rocking it back and forth a little bit there, trying to make sure he's got a little bit of heat built up in those tires. You see the 11 of Jimmy Cocker, as well as the 7, I believe that it is back there doing the same exact thing. It's a win in shake and bake to get closer and closer to that postseason. The 50 has not had the speed all night long, but he's got great track position right now.
Yeah, he sure does. And you can see these guys just absolutely on top of each other. There's going to be zero room for error. If you spin your tires even a little bit, your race is pretty much over because you have the entire field behind you that is ready to run you over to get those positions unexpectedly. So we'll see how it goes, but man, oh man, take a look. So incredibly tight. The 50 into the wall, the 61 behind him. That is going to bring out a caution.
Caution for.
Yeah, both the 50 and the 61 spun him. The 50 spun him first. The 60 had to check up and then tried to get back on the throttle again, and they both end up in the outside wall.
Yeah, no room for forgiveness here, but the 61 did not back off of that 50 machine, and that is going to put both of them into the wall. Somehow, everyone misses them. I don't know how, but man, a tragic ending for Honeycutt there.
Very, very tragic. I got to give him credit for trying. Just with how slick these tires are, I don't know if he was trying it in a first or second gear restart, but John Honeycutt's going to have to go to the back. New leaders, though, is going to be Andrew Wisdom and Brendan Book. If the 5 has that short run speed that he showed earlier, have to see if Andrew Wisdom is able to hold him off. He's going to have the high line unless Andrew Wisdom chooses up high. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Jimmy Cocker, and Josh Taylor. How about Josh Taylor bringing it from P10 up to P5 in a lap, or not even.
Yeah, doing a great job. His debut out here. Meanwhile, Honeycutt, who was involved with that, sitting P23. Micah, 22nd. So not sure if these drivers are going to go in, but you can see Micah miss the back part of his bumper. Josh Taylor goes into pit lane. Philip Bridgman, Chuck Cody, Joseph Turley, Jordan McGraw making his way in along with Micah. Looks like John Honeycutt stays out.
Well, Andrew Wisdom, Brendan Book, not on the same team. There's no way that they're going to be able to play this nice and count each other down to the loud pedal. I don't know if the 5 races on triples or not, or if he's got a spotter telling him when the 1 is going to go ahead and stab the throttle. the 5 really needs a great restart here in order to have a chance at this win. The 1 is just very, very strong.
Yeah, I'll be honest. On these restarts, I did an AI race out there, and even on the initial start, Pete, I straight bend it, tire squealed, and off I went straight to the right into the field. I'm like, oh, well, let's try this again. And, you know, these drivers are obviously experiencing that tonight, especially when you take one side. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle it on this next restart. You know they have to ease into the throttle and yet be aggressive enough to not let those drivers get around you.
Well, everybody from first back through P15, Justin Anscock in that number 4, all down pit road on lap 148. So if we're going to see any kind of wheel spin out of any of these guys, it really could happen to any of them because, well, yeah, they're all on equal equipment. Here it's going to come down to the control car and spotters telling all these drivers when it's time to go.
3 to go. We'll see what happens here. 6th caution of the night. A lot of those stage cautions, 2 of those, I should say. Racer Rex says cautions breed cautions. Just saying. Hopefully we don't see another one. I want to see this finish here, and I want to see a good one. 3 wide. That's what I'm saying. Bring it home.
Racer Rec is not wrong.
I say it all
Matty,
the time. Those
Matty
cautions.
Joy fan says, let's try that again. My version is, let's rack and stack them all back up. Elbows out. Let's get back racing. 1, 5, 00, 11, 7, 86, 37, 16, 3, and 23. So Wisdom, Book, Juergensmeyer, Cocker, Allen, Rosenbrook, Sanford, Rob, Cunningham, and Jose Ruiz are the top 10. How about Jose Ruiz with that rebound?
I was just about to say.
Yeah, these cautions have served him well.
Absolutely. Making great strides, making his way through the field up to a top 10. And after that start, getting taken out. Just really great comeback for him. So we'll see what happens here. But Andrew Wisdom going to lead the field. He chooses the low side. He's going to have Brennan Book on that high side. See how they start back, but as you can tell on the last restart, no one was giving anyone an inch. You make a mistake, they're just on the throttle. There's nowhere to go, so you have to be mistake-free here.
Absolutely. One thing you can do, which I don't know if you'd really suggest, the 11 of Jimmy Cocker, he could be all over the back bumper of the 5. The 00 of Juergensmeyer, he could be all over the back end of the 1 and really trying to shove as we get these things going. Look at the 7, Luke Allen and Riley Rosenbrook. They are side by side. 37 of Andrew Sanford and Dylan Robb, they are back side by side. There's a whole lot of progress up inside the top 10. Jimmy Cocker, though, started this race in 4th. Right now in the 4th again. Pace car's about to pull off. We're going back green for another green-white checker attempt, Eliza. Let's go racing.
Green flag.
Let's go on board with Francis Hamilton as we go back to racing, and he sits currently 11th, moving up center through the field. How about that? I don't know how well that's going to last, but man, a caution already comes out. Huge chaos as we come around here. Let's take a look. 3, 4 wide and just nowhere to go. You see Tom Flitcroft, huge carnage. That's going to be the big one here. The 2, the 3, the 50 trying to miss it. Carnage, straight carnage, Pete.
Yeah, the 5 spun him on the get-go, and it was just an accordion effect all the way back through the field, and that's what we see.
We can go back to the start and see where that started here. Yeah, the 5 did not get a great start. And then they just start stacking up. The 16, the 23, they make it through, but then Tom Flitcroft runs into trouble.
Yep, so we're gonna stack them all up again for another attempt at this green-white checker. A lot of cars hard up in that outside wall, and Eliza, they were still playing bumper cars even after the wreck in the back. So There's a lot of people really jockeying for every single position that they can get, because at the end of the season, that's when it really matters. But it's going to be the 11 of Jimmy Cocker and Riley Rosenbrook to be our top three. Brendan Book, even after that bad restart, he's still going to be able to be P4 with Luke Allen right behind.
Andrew Wisdom, Jimmy Cocker, Riley Rosenbrook, it keeps changing. We've seen so many issues with our top drivers out here. Justin has made his way to P14 from earlier struggles onto pit lane, getting a penalty when he was leading so much of the race. So it's not over just yet for him. Jose, he somehow manages to survive that whole mess, is in 9th currently. Jeff No in 10th. Francis Hamilton, we saw him take the middle on that restart, go up a few spots. He's in 8th currently. Dylan in 6th. Andrew Sanford 7th. Luke Allen in 5th. Brendan Book, who did not get a great restart, sits P4. Riley in 3rd. Jimmy Cocker 2nd. Andrew Wisdom leading us once again.
Way back when, I say way back like it was, lap 5, but back when Justin Ascock got that pit road penalty, and it was all the way back. He was like the 8th person, 1 lap down, in no real contention to get his lap back. He could have gotten all kinds of upset and quit the race and said, you know what, I'll see y'all at Rockingham when we reset that race. But no, he stuck around, and look at all the points he saved. Eliza, that is why you race a race all the way to its conclusion.
Yeah, I mean, it's so true. You never know what's going to happen. And there's a few of them out there that have run into that circumstance where they could have retired for the race, but they would have given up a lot of points. And instead, they are out here and top 15, top 20, which is not bad considering they could have been in the 30s. So great job to these guys for keeping it out here. We'll see. Hopefully, we can bring it home in the next couple laps.
Absolutely. I believe this is the last attempt at a green-white checker. Andrew Wisdom and Jimmy Cocker are going to restart side by side. So I believe the 86 and the 11, they are on the same team. Andrew Wisdom's kind of by himself. C Motorsports back there with Brendan Book, and then Luke Allen, I think, is with FIWB as well. So it's going to be a great restart. It's going to be interesting to see who counts who down, or if any of those games are played.
Yeah, I'm not sure that these guys are going to count them down. We'll see what happens with that. Sometimes I know when you count them down, if you're not directly next to each other, it can mess you up too, because you never know how the guys are going to start in front of you. But we'll see how it goes and how they restart. But this is going to be everything. If you don't get a good restart, you're just going to get swallowed up by the guys behind.
Absolutely right, and I was wrong. Luke Allen is actually part of Dart Motorsports with all their posts on Facebook and Twitter. I don't know how I could have made that mistake. They are absolutely very, very active, very big about their iRacing teamwork, and cannot wait to see how the 7 fares after this restart. 7th caution on the evening, 3 laps to go. Green, a white checker. Who's it going to be, Eliza?
Man, I don't know. I just want it to end under green flag. I want to see these guys be able to finish it and race to the finale here. Racer Rex says, will there be 10 cautions? Lord, I hope not.
No, I don't. Nope, not happening.
Yeah, definitely not happening. But man, oh man. Wisdom getting ready to lead us off here. Jimmy Cocker on that outside. No space will be given. These guys are going to take advantage of every last piece of stuff that they have. And man, 86 Riley almost loses it right there. I mean, these just restarts are just so difficult. And we see issues going on in the back of the track here. The 97 Joseph Turley. These guys are 4 wide.
They are 4 wide, but up front, the 5 gave the 11 of Jim Cocker a big old push on that restart. So the 5 redeems his restart prowess into turns 3 and 4, coming to the white flag. The 1's got it, the 11 wants it, the 5's trying to keep up. Everybody off 4 into the trial. Well, it's the last lap, Eliza.
Last lap, this is it. No matter what happens, and Andrew Wisdom is in the lead with Jimmy Cocker right on his tail. And what a great race for Jimmy out here. Hopefully getting that top 3. We'll see if he's going to challenge him for the win here as we head into turn 3. We'll see what happens. I don't know if he's going to have enough, but Wisdom looks solid. Jimmy all over that apron. Gets loose, gonna go underneath. These guys going side by side. Is gonna be Andrew Wisdom gets the win. Jimmy Cocker in second. Brendan Book brings it home on podium.
Jimmy Cocker just ran the fastest lap of the race with a 30.8. Goes purple to bring it to the checkers. Congratulations to him. Brendan Book P3, but Andrew Wisdom bringing it home for his first win of the season. Again, Rockingham is next. Post-race interviews are going to be great.
Absolutely insane. What a race. Cleaner at the start than I expected, but the finish, you know, a little riddled with some cautions, but man, oh man, what a finish out here. We'll get these guys into the booth. But man, Wisdom with a win out here, first time of the season. This is our back-to-back champion out here celebrating. A great job for him. Let's take a look as he celebrates. All right, Wisdom, a great win for you out here. Take us through your race. We didn't see you up in the lead until later on. How was the start of your race?
Pretty terrible. Hit the wall on quali, so I started like 19th or 20th. Then I got up to like 12th. Then I had another issue and back to like 25th. Then I got back up to 12th again, and then I overshot the pit box, forgot how to put the car in reverse. Then I went to the back again. Then I went to like 4th or something, I think, and then like kind of a little bit of back and forth. And yeah, it worked out, but like I made way too many mistakes. I was surprised that I even had a chance there at the end. I was happy to be up there in contention for it. But definitely had like a lot of issues and didn't do myself any favors. Just tried to stay patient with it. It's really hard to not push the car. Like if you're trying to work your way through the field, you know, if you feel like you're pretty fast and can try to get to the front, it's really hard to stay disciplined on the right rear tire, especially here. So yeah, just tried to kind of find that balance and put myself in a good spot. It worked out.
Absolutely. At what point, at the final part of the race, did you realize I might luck out and maybe be able to work out in the lead and perhaps get a win here?
Probably the part where I think I walled Book, even though I didn't mean to. I like drove it in pretty deep into 3, and like I just like kind of wasn't expecting him to be able to drive it in that deep on the outside. So I was kind of committed to sliding up, but he was still there, and it was just a crappy move on my part. But I think he might have got into the wall or something a little bit. I'm not sure if he had any damage or if it was just tire temp, but I definitely felt like the laps after that I was in pretty good shape from whatever happened. Definitely sorry to Book on that one. I wasn't trying to, you know, obviously cause contact, put anybody in the wall. Yeah, drove it in deep, just not deep enough, I guess. But at that point, I was like, we were in pretty good shape, and then the cautions came out. We had a set of tires left, so it felt pretty good after that.
Well, you look great, and you brought your first win of the season home here in the Xfinity Series. So congratulations to you. Great seeing you out there. And man, what a comeback from struggles at the first part of your race. Great job out there.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Pete, you want to go ahead and give Mr. Jimmy Cocker an interview for a second?
Absolutely, Jimmy. It is Pete. Tell you what, Team FIWB, and this is number 11, Virginia Tech Hokies machine, strong all night long. Yeah, I don't think I saw you outside of the top 5 once. It seems like you were battling with Justin and Brendan and Riley and Luke Allen and so many others all evening long. Talk us through your race and tell us about that last lap, hitting the fastest lap of the race, coming to that checker.
Yeah, that was something. All right, I really do love this racetrack and combo. The Xfinity cars are really fun. I'm glad this was on the schedule. But yeah, FIWB, I see that we finished second look at Dylan Robb down there, 4th, Francis 5th. I mean, we really had a good setup, even though we're doing fixed setups. But I think we in stage one we went off a little bit on strategy. We wanted to win the stage, so we went ahead and took a set of tires there in the middle, ended up winning that stage. And then somehow I was able to not take a set of tires at the end of the stage
Hmm.
and still somehow get 10th in stage two. I guess we were saving pretty well there. But yeah, stage three, I I really didn't know if we had anything for those top guys. They were 2 seconds ahead of me before that pit cycle, that last one, and I guess we lucked into a little bit of one of those cautions, got us up there. Something happened to Book. I don't know. I hope it wasn't me jacking up his rear tires, but um, yeah, I was gonna push him. I was kind of coordinating with him in the chat that I was gonna push him to get him a little bit of a better restart so he doesn't, wheel hop. And I guess that did exactly the opposite. He wheel spun all the way through the restart zone. But no, it was a good race for us, and I just got to thank AWG and Team FIWB for it. It's a lot of fun.
Well, Team FIWB, I know that y'all's notes are pretty thick. This is the first season with Shake and Bake in these Xfinity cars. What do you think of your chances next week at Rockingham? Can you get one better?
That's another fun racetrack, another worn out racetrack. So it's going to be very bumpy. People are going to be, I mean, if you thought the next gen was bad, getting off a turn two, I just can't imagine what we're going to see with the Xfinity car. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
No doubt, a driver's racetrack. Congratulations on your runner-up, Jimmy. We'll see you next week at the Rock.
Yeah, thank you so much. Congratulations, Wisdom.
All right, Eliza, Brendan Book, one of your most trusted advisors here in Shake and Bake, and you got him.
With that beautiful mustache said out there in chat, he brings home a podium finish up 3 spots from where you started, Brendan. Take us through your race. We saw you out there out front for quite a while. So take us through your race and the trouble that you ran into.
Yeah, I think overall race was pretty smooth there. I gave up some stage points in the first stage because I wanted to make sure I had a decent track position to start the second stage. But really good second stage. I felt like I had the best car in the long run. Me and the four I thought were probably the fastest two overall. Obviously Wisdom was fast there at the end. I'm not sure where he came from, but yeah, third stage, I won. Lucky I didn't get a speeding penalty because I was going in about 10 over, so I had to slow down to like 15 under to not get the penalty. And I think that allowed Wisdom to gain a bunch of time there on that pit stop on a green. And then, yeah, he mentioned the contact. I mean, I wouldn't say he did anything wrong. I got in the wall in one and two, just, not driving smooth enough. And then I knew he was going to send it in, so I kind of sent it in to try to stay out there. And, he Austin Dillon me. Just joking. He didn't really do that. But I don't know. I was just trying to stay on the outside. So, I mean, I probably would have done the same thing. I kind of thinking back, I wish I would have arced it a little bit more. That way I would have been able to bump against the wall. Then he slides in. Maybe if we door, it's not that bad. Yeah, that kind of gave me some damage on the right front, which I feel like hurt me. But maybe it didn't. I'm not sure with these cars. It's been a while. There. Then at the end, I kind of choked a lot there on the restart. That second restart, I kind of missed my shift completely. Like I went to go put it into third gear and it just did not go in. So that's on me. I know Jimmy was talking about maybe if he got into me. No, it wasn't on him or anything. That's just on me not getting it into gear. So just mistakes by me, no one else. So it was a good fun race. I'm glad I got third out of it. And yeah, I think I'm back. I feel like I'm back.
Hey.
Good to hear. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. Xfinity wise, I know it was voted in as, the most popular choice for the season. How are you liking it so far?
I definitely like it way better than next gen. I think next gen, there's the reward for saving tires. I feel like isn't there here, and also like how the car handles. You're more yawed out. You can't just be full throttle once you get back in the gas middle of the corner. Um, Even Daytona was like was a little loose on if after a few laps. And here I think this is probably one of the best races that we've had in terms of just everyone having actually have to drive the car. So um, and I felt like I was ripping that wall pretty good. Just came up a couple spots short again. I guess I'll take 2 threes in a row though. So I mean, do it for Dale, I guess.
Absolutely. Well, next week we head to Rockingham. It's going to be a fun ride. You heard it from the drivers. So it's going to be quite the challenge. I'm excited to see it take on. And Pete, it's always fun with you.
Always fun with you as well, Eliza. We got a long season to go, and if Daytona and here at Legacy Atlanta are any indication on what this season is going to be like, it's going to be phenomenal. We're in it for the long haul.
We'll see you guys next week, Monday at 8:17 p.m. Eastern Time. You guys take it easy. And a huge congratulations to our top 3 drivers and Wisdom as he takes home a win. Have a good night, guys. Take it easy.